The UN Security Council is throwing its support behind Iraq's new government as it battles Islamic State terrorists. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry chaired the special session, noting the mission will require help from nearly every country. CCTV's UN correspondent Liling joins us. And Liling, Secretary Kerry really used this as an opportunity to issue an international call for action, didn't he?
Yes, indeed he did. And there's a special United Nations Security Council session that really saw the international community coming together to show solidarity, not just for Iraq and its fight against the Islamic State, but also in support of the US-led coalition to, quote, degrade and destroy the radical Sunni Muslim group. Now, galvanizing support for Iraq in an effort to build an international response to defeat the Islamic State, also known as ISIS or ISIL, the U.S. Secretary of State chaired this council meeting that was attended by more than 30 countries, including Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Iran.
In the face of this sort of evil, we have only one option: to confront it with a holistic global campaign that is committed and capable of degrading and destroying this terrorist threat.
Now, the U.S., which is the rotating council president for this month, called the meeting to show unified support for the new Iraqi government. And at the session, Iraq's new foreign minister reiterated the country's commitment to fighting IS.
The influx of terrorist fighters from all over the world to establish this state of ISIS is a grave danger not only to Iraq and Syria, but to the entire region. Fighting those terrorists in Iraq, Mr. President, and sparing the Iraqi people their evils is in the interest of the entire world.
Now, the council also adopted a formal presidential statement that condemned attacks by terrorist groups, including the Islamic State. Violence may constitute war crimes. Mike?
And Liling, this session, of course, marks the end of a week-long U.S. campaign to drum up support for an international coalition. Are we seeing any movement by countries on that front?
Yes, among the 35 countries that participated in this session, many of them were members of this coalition, including France, which, as we know, has just launched the first of several planned airstrikes against IS in Iraq. Now, France, if you recall, was staunchly against the Iraq war in 2003, but addressing the council this session, the French foreign minister drew a comparison between then and now, saying that in 2003, action against Iraq had divided the council, but now in 2014, action for Iraq and against these terrorists has united the council. But Security Council action does not end here. In less than a week, there will be higher-level meetings to be chaired by the U.S. president. He'll be meeting with world leaders, and we're expecting a vote and an adoption of a resolution to cripple the Islamic State by targeting and restricting the travel and recruitment of foreign terrorist fighters.
Liling, you're talking about these foreign terrorist fighters, you know, in the wake of these beheadings by ISIS or ISIL or IS in Syria, and the violence perpetrated by these very same foreign fighters. What's the possibility of countries actually expanding the airstrikes into Syria?
That is very unlikely, and even though it was no doubt on everybody's mind at this session, the chances of that happening is slim. There is no expectation that the Security Council would make a decision on that or anytime soon or ever, and that's because unlike Iraq, which had made a request for international assistance, Syria has not asked for help and is unlikely to. And that means the UN does not have the authority to okay or green light airstrikes without Syria's consent or request. And even in the very slim chance that it did, Russia would veto that decision.
All right, Liling, very comprehensive. Thanks so much. She's live outside the UN for us.